We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Maurice Dwayne Smith at Nuclear Popcorn, and today we have a up-and-coming band that's setting the world on fire with a unique Southern, but not Southern style, because they're kind of like a combination of different mindsets, really. First time I heard them, and this is Six Gun Sal. They kind of remind me of, you know, different forces, such as the late, great, what's that band that died in the plane crash?
Leonard Skinner.
Right. And, you know, other people, but you guys got your own style. As this is Six Gun Sal.
How's it going?
And
nice to meet you, Anthony.
Anthony.
Joey.
Joey.
Dusty Lane.
Very nice to meet you. Yeah, so you guys are moving right along here. You got some things going on. I met you at the Rose, and you guys had pretty good command of the audience, and pretty good. And although I've already spoken to you, that was about, what, a month ago? No, 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into depth into, you've already told me how you guys started, how you met. Tell me again, because one of you was working at a guitar show, and then the other just kind of bumped into him. Was that kind of like a...
Yeah, the guy that was working at the Guitar Center is our lead guitar.
That'd be
Ed Fierro.
Fierro, right.
And Dustin actually knew him, so that's how we met Ed, as far as the Guitar Center guy goes.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, we spoke about your mechanics as far as your creativity, you know, how you get into the mode of creating your own music. And Fierro was saying that it's kind of magic because something might occur, something might come to him, and then someone else will come in and starts blending, you know, sort of like a cake, add this, add that, add this. Give people you know, like a little taste of how that works, and then we'll get into who you are, where you came from.
Sure.
Well, in any rehearsal we have, sometimes we'll just be sitting there just messing with either a riff or a little drum beat or whatever. And a lot of times it'll be me that I'll just be sitting there, you know, messing with something on the guitar, or he is, and we'll say, hey, keep playing that, you know. And then drums will come in, and next thing you know, an hour later we got a song, you know. And that's how a lot of our stuff goes. I mean, we have a lot of chemistry like that it's just out of one or two little chords. You know, next thing you know, we got a song, and it's on the album, and it's
really
done
is
with
that way.
Pieces together really quickly.
But a lot of it does come from, you know, life experience. You know, and he likes, especially him, he likes to write about what's going on in his daily life. And I wish I could express that on my guitar, you know. But I'm just like, hey, I'll put something to that, you know. But yeah, it does come that fast, but overall, it comes from daily life, you know.
Cool. Speaking of daily life, let's start with you first. How did you get your start in music or in creative
By
stuff?
accident, really.
High school, grade school?
Well, in high schow I played baseball, and I was a band geek. I played the drums in the band. And then, and that was it. I was in chorus in 8th grade for like a year.
Chorus? What's chorus?
Musical chorus, singing.
Okay.
7th grade, not 8th grade. So that was the only time I had ever sang.
And it was not rock and roll. You told me you liked Smokey Robinson.
Oh yeah, Smokey Robinson. You know, those guys were all influential. You know, Marvin Gaye and you know, Barry White, all those people. My mother listened to Motown a lot, so that's, you know, when your parents are listening to their music, that's usually what you hear. It wasn't like today where, you know, the kids can put on the earphones and go on the internet, and, you know, you had to listen to whatever your parents were listening to. And you know, so I liked it. I thought the music had soul. I thought it had meaning behind it. You know, for me, the meaning behind the music is so important. You know, nowadays when you listen to music, it's you hear the word baby, baby, baby like 42 times. Kiss me, baby, baby, baby. Let's hang out here, baby, baby, baby. Be my girl. It's like, come on. And then you listen to somebody like Frank Sinatra, and you're like, this guy's telling stories and making you just sit and think about life, and this guy's just talking about, you know,
sex.
Yeah.
If that's what you can even get from it, it's you know, you hear the word baby 563 times, and then 3 other small sentences, and it's a hit. You know, I saw. So yeah, going back to the original question, I mean, my start in music, he called me out of the blue, and.
So you guys have known each other since?
Oh, we've known each other forever.
2nd grade or 3rd grade?
You know, he's actually my son's godfather, and you know,
About 30 years.
I've known him about 30 years. I mean,
So you're brothers, basically.
Yeah, oh, totally. I'd do anything for this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he called me out of the blue because years ago, we got together for a short period of time, and we'd go play on some crappy drum set, and he had this little tiny amp, and we'd go in a horse stable over there where we were hanging out and play this music and just be goofballs, and that was it. So one day he called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, you want to play some drums?" And I said, "Sure." Came over. He was playing guitar. I sat at the drum set, and we just started doing our thing, and
And the rest is history, as I say.
so their regular drummer at the time came back from vacation or whatever, and so I, did the humble bow out and said, and before I left, he said, "Hey, I wrote these lyrics for this song we've been working on, and would you mind reading them out loud, as we play it?" And I made a joke, and I said, I don't know, can't curse or not, but I used a version of a female dog. I said, "Please, I could sing, And so everybody laughed and says, "Oh, you can sing?" I said, "Yeah, of course I can sing." So when I started playing, I started singing the way I thought the song should sound. And then they all stopped. We all looked at each other, and the rest was history.
So shit, we got something here.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about him is he naturally has talent,
Rhythm.
which a lot of us have to work for that. He just has
Melodious,
it.
yeah.
He just has it, and it really worked. I mean, our engineer, the very first time we went into the studio to lay tracks down, put him in the booth, and he was frustrated because he didn't really know the terms of everything, as a real musician at the time would know, but he had the talent.
So he's got the ear, so you don't read music?
No. I can read notes. I mean, I can read notes, but to sit there and like read a book out loud and understand it, I mean, it takes me a minute. But now that I've taught he introduced me to guitar, and I just took a hold of it. So now I understand it a lot more. So I can definitely read notes, but I couldn't sit there for a second, and play an entire song at speed just reading notes. No, but I understand it now. It's like in another language. You can understand a lot, but you might not be able to speak it that well.
So where did you guys come from when you two met? Which state was that in?
California. I'm at California. I was born in California originally in Long Beach. I went to Bryant, elementary school, and then. But before that, I
we haven't forgotten about you.
went to the East Coast. I was raised in the East Coast for the majority of my life. I came back to California for like 2 years. Went to Bryant for 2 years. Went back to New Jersey again. Stayed there. Graduated high school there, and then a year after high school, I came back to California, and then I met Dustin about 4 years after that.
Cool. Now, since you brought in Jersey, I'm from kind of like that area, South Carolina, New York, back and forth. Jersey's kind of like Springsteen area, and what's the guy, the blonde guy, had that big.
John Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah. They had the world on fire for a second. So now, have they had any type of influence on you whatsoever?
I was never a big Springsteen fan. Just wasn't my kind of music. Again, it wasn't what, I was a Guns N' Roses kid.
Kind of grunge, kind of.
I liked Metallica. I liked Guns N' Roses. I had never really listened. You hear a song on the radio, Sweet Home Alabama or something like that, and you're like, oh, I like that song too. But I was just at one point in time, I was either listening to Run DMC and NWA and stuff like that, and then I was listening to Guns N' Roses, and I was listening. So I went through my phase of rap in high school, and then I went through my phase of rock in high school, and then when the 90s came in, I just turned off the radio because the entire decade really sucked of music. It didn't make any sense to me, and it made sense, but it was just
right. It wasn't your cup of tea.
I just thought it was a lame half decade of music that came out, and we went from just raging rock and hair bands and cool rappers wearing Adidas, shell-toe Adidas, and then to long hair wearing a buttoned-up Pendleton, sitting in a coffee shop, singing about rainbows and stuff, and it just it just didn't work for me. So
when did you meet this fine gentleman here?
Met
The
Joey,
drummer man.
5 years ago.
Yeah, we met. We've known him for about. Well, he's known him longer than I have.
I used to play in this other band, and I met Dusty because that band was going to be doing some soundtrack stuff for. He was in the movie industry too, and that's why I met. And well, lo and behold, that band, after almost 20 years, fell apart. And I just happened to put it on Facebook that, hey, I'm done with this situation. And literally like 10 minutes, half an hour later.
Social media does have impact.
It does.
It sure does.
Oh, it has a lot of impact.
I found a lot of.
does. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's how I met Yvette. You're a publicist. I'm not sure how I met. No, now I remember.
Yeah, but Facebook, changed
Fashion
the
show.
lives of this band, I think, because if it wasn't for Dusty getting back to me and me going and hanging out with these guys, this probably would have never have happened.
So who's most influential in your drum style? Or do like drummers have favorites, or is it just a drummer just
I have
slings
a
out
lot
a
of
beat
favorites. I mean,
and they
I
get their own
love
style?
I love watching all different kinds of drummers because, you know, I like to listen or catch some stuff that I would like to learn if there's something I don't know. You know, like I mean, like I like Neil Peart and Danny Carey, and then I love Johnny Bonham and Joey Kramer, and you know, and Artemis Pyle from Leonard Skinner. I mean, I pick up little things from all these guys, and I influence in the way I play.
Now, me as a listener to music and digging on different types of drummers is one thing, but to be a drummer, what would you say makes a drummer a great drummer? Obviously, the ability to be dexterous and you know, utilize the hands and feet and coordination, but I mean, you can hear some people play drum, then some people it's like you don't even need to hear anyone sing. That drum is like freaking Kool-Aid, you know what I mean?
Being able to hear. I hear a lot of stuff in my head, and you know, and I try to play around that. A lot of times I'll be singing certain things to myself, you know, while I'm playing. You know, and we do that a lot when we write. I'll hear stuff. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's not music he's hearing. We don't know what it is.
Take your medication, man.
It's those other voices, and it's telling me, hey, do that right.
But now, whatever you guys are doing, you're doing well, because I see that you open for such bands as LA Guns, Lynch Mob, PD Trap, Junkyard, Great White. That one I'm very familiar with, LA Guns and Lynch. Now, Lynch Mob, I thought that was like a rap band. That's not a live rap.
No, that's
they're
actually, remember
Dokken.
Dokken?
Yeah,
That's George
they're like
Lynch. He's the
a
guitarist.
Christian, right?
No.
No, not that one.
No, the
but
rock band Dokken in the 80s, they were really big.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. They did a soundtrack
Yeah.
for one of their
Dream
Oh,
Warriors,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
Dream Warriors. That was a huge band. They're still pretty big. And then the guitar player from that band has his own band called Lynch Mob. They had a huge hit on MTV back in the 90s, and they're still playing. They're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
One of my
best friends is
friends-
the bass player in that band.
One of my friends did the stunt work for Nightmare.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Marnie Lynn
I
Fields.
remember those movies.
Yeah, she did all the falls and the running from Crazy Ass Freddy and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because, like, I actually saw one of those movies like, a few months back, and I never knew that Johnny Depp was in that movie.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, oh my God, that was so long
He was
ago. It's
young.
like,
He was
he
so
wasn't
young,
even really
yeah.
known back then. He just had a small part in a movie, and I was like, Johnny Depp, wow.
Yeah, it's like, speaking, in fact, that gives me an idea for a very good question. Just like that little small role, I mean, it was big compared to me, I've done like background, but that's a big, big role, but small compared to what he's doing now.
Oh, sure.
It probably was like a launch for something else. What was it that you guys did collectively that kind of was a catalyst for something else? Because now you're about to drop your second album, right? Okay, and okay, the first one's what? West of Heaven
West
is the
of
name of your
Heaven.
first? Okay, so now you're about to do your second album. What was the first one that started everything? Way past knowing everybody and getting together and saying, okay, we got something happen. Like when you thought, hell, I can pay my rent with this. I can buy cars. I can get married now. Give the baby new shoes.
Actually, that was like one song, and it came down to one of the songs that we never thought was going to be anything, and that was "Remember My Name," which is now our first album's anthem. Everybody wants to hear that
It's
song.
the most, and lately it's the most played song too. I mean, it's very popular.
So yeah, I mean, we'll actually get requests when we go into the clubs. They're like, "You're gonna play that song," you know? And we're like, "Yes."
Or people will actually start screaming. Like
Yeah.
I remember hearing one guy just scream like he was being murdered when we started playing that song.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. It was like it was just basically like F yeah and screaming at the top of his lungs.
I think I heard that kind of reaction over at the Rose too.
Yeah, we got a great reaction at the Rose. It was a good
Now,
crowd.
if I'm not mistaken, didn't you say this is personal to me, or the song means something to me? Did anyone say that?
Well, for me, Broken was the song that
Yeah.
you know is personal to me because it covers a broad spectrum of things in life, and you know I'm very very big supporter of our military
And a veteran.
And well, Dustin's the veteran.
Okay.
I did my stint with local service,
Okay.
but he. You know, they come home after seeing some of these tragedies, and some of these people come home losing limbs and things like that. And, And it doesn't matter what you support, whether you support us going to other countries or wars. What matters is the human being that's an American that goes over there. And when they come home, sometimes they're really screwed up, and you know, they're just left. You know, they end up becoming homeless on the streets. You know, we have 20 plus veterans a day we're committing suicide. You know, so that song was basically something I really truly wrote from the heart about that. I also, you know, a lot of mental illness in the country. You know, singers and drug addiction and overdoses, and you know, people that just don't see the world the way I might see it, or that there's always a bright light at the end of the tunnel. So I wanted to put a song together with words that, you know, and then some personal experiences for me personally are in that song, you know, and, you know, it covers, you know, family, it covers kids, it covers just society in general. So that for me, that's a personal song. Yeah.
So now you guys seem to be not the type of band that gets high and falls out. They find you stretched out in a freaking hospital room with needles sticking out of your neck.
Well, in the very beginning, we formed this band. I am myself. I'm a strong believer. I have faith. Like I said, I always make a joke and call myself the bad Christian because, you know, I'm the first guy that'll dive in sideways if somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing, and think about the repercussions afterwards. But I do believe strongly. I know personal experience. I know there's something after this. But
definitely.
But yeah, it's I don't know.
What's funny, I mean, we're almost straight edge, if you think about it. I mean, I don't drink hardly. I may have a beer a month. He doesn't either, and he doesn't, you know. And
I've been sober a long time.
Well, even before we met Joey, Dustin and I had a rule in the band. If you do drugs, you drink, you're out. That's it. We're not 19 years old. We're not interested in getting high and you know, and having, you know, 50, you know, women and strange women waiting for us in the green room. That's not why we did it.
That was in the 80s and early 90s.
But
that time period.
In a culture so decadent as, you know, bands and entertainment, those women are going to be there regardless. Drugs are going to be around you. How do you survive in such a thing?
Well, I mean, I don't judge. You know, hey, if
because like when you go on the road, and let's say you know, open up for some of these bands, I know they got to be doing it.
Oh, no, hey, we've seen it. We've already seen it.
I have a network. I have a network
so
of people around me.
How do you block it off?
Well, like you just said, he puts a network around him. Like, see me, I don't, if somebody's even smoking, I personally don't like the smell of marijuana, so if I walk away, I get out of that area. You know, I don't drink, I never have, even as a kid. I mean, I remember having a Budweiser once and I yelled out, "Oh my God, it tastes like cat piss." That's exactly what I said. And I was like, how can anybody drink this, right? So I never was interested in drinking, and then my dad told me once, if I ever catch you smoking, if I ever catch you, I'm gonna do this, this, and this to you. Well, if you knew my dad, he meant every word of it, and it terrified me. And I thought, you know what? I don't ever want to get caught with my dad doing this, because if I do it, he's going to do this to me. And so I never had an issue. But I don't. Hey, if you want to do that stuff, that's great. I'll tell you it's no good for you. You know, but you know, people do things because they all think they're invincible, and until they end up in a hospital or they're dying of something, and then they think back going, oh my God, maybe I should have listened to that guy who said that's bad for me. So hey, if you want to do it, if that's what makes you happy, then do it. But again, the repercussions of doing certain drugs, you've seen them. They're all, people die.
They die, yeah.
And
I had a friend who just died.
And it's a terrible situation.
I've had a lot of friends of mine pass away from drug addiction and ODing, and I played in bands with guys
he
that
had
did
like
that.
5 people die in the past 3 years that he knew personally. You know, and
Heroin, right?
Heroin and cocaine. I mean, you know, I mean, STP is an example. Scott Weiland. I mean, years and years ago, I hung out with him, and it wasn't good. You know, and he died what, a year and a half ago of a cocaine overdose. Now this guy was doing heroin back then. You know, and I'd never ever tried that, and I was like, this is crazy. I can't be around that. You know, and when I got sober a long time ago, and you know, because look, man, you know what? Some people do things, some people don't. Whatever the deal is, the problem is you don't want to get to the point where you could get addicted, because it could kill you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm always been there, you know, to talk to people with the handout issue, because I've been through it.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, you got a second album coming up, Red Blooded American. Could you give us some hint as to, I kind of feel it's something that talks about the purity and what America is supposed to stand for. Am I kind of right?
Sure, yeah. No, Red Blooded American's a simple song. It's about everybody. You know, we don't. we're very apolitical. You know what? We don't get involved in that crap. And I wish more people in entertainment would concentrate on what they're good at rather than what they think they know. And so we wrote a song that is, hey man, you know what? It doesn't matter if you voted for that guy, or you voted for this guy, or you voted for her, or you voted for, it doesn't matter. What matters is you're all Americans. What matters is that you want to become an American. What matters is that we have pride in our country, and that we believe in it, and that we support each other. And that's really what Red Blooded American was all about. Again, you know what? We support the military. You
Yeah,
know,
the whole album has that theme.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it covers everything from farmers to firemen to cops to the military. And you know, these are people who have crazy jobs. And if you don't understand that job, before you comment on something, go out there and actually take a ride along. Go see what it's like. You know, see what some of the things people have to deal with, and see all the beautiful things that cops and firemen and the military actually do. See all the kids they've saved, you know? So there's good and bad to everything. Let me tell you, I've met my share of bad cops, you have no idea, and I've gotten into it face to face, shouting matches with these guys because I know that trade. Like I said, I mean, that was my service back in the day. And
You're a cop?
yeah, and it just, you know, I got out of it after a while. Like I said, being a cop was, it became more of, instead of trying to do the right thing and helping people, more of a political job. And I'm not about that. Again, I hate politics.
Cool.
So,
Well, let's move on to this now. August 17 says that you guys will make a special appearance at Asian World Media, one of the leading Vietnamese entertainment companies and television stations in the U.S., where you will be performing at the station's one-year anniversary event. How's that feel to you?
that's cool, man. I mean, hey, it's awesome. You know, it's to be invited to somebody's one-year anniversary and be one of the performers. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you
We're
know,
honored that they want us to come
it's
out and
definitely
do
an
it.
honor, and you know, one of our major goals, and I mean, Dustin can speak for himself, is, you know, we want to go to Asia. We want to go to Europe. We want to get out
And cross
and-
over different markets.
Absolutely, because we know. I mean, hey, I've looked at it in Germany and Poland. The UK, you know, Southern rock is huge. People just love the music, so why
Which
not
is,
just
you
go
know,
give them a little bit of ours?
Really weird, but you know that these kind of people, these nationalities, like middle America music, you know. But hey, I'm
I
a
gotta-
fan myself, so you know.
I got a funny story for you. Now, I come from an Army family. Father was in Vietnam, Korea. I was born in France, went to school there for a while. But they're from the South, so I grew up in the South. And of course, you know, there's problems there. But when I was hearing certain Southern rock, I never knew it was Southern or rock till I got somewhere else. Then it said, oh, no, you listen to country stuff. I was like, no, that's not country. Nah, yes, it is. So to me, like certain things that some people would say is Southern rock or whatever, is just music that sounds good.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
so
It was like
I mean-
that. It was like that to me too. I just music was music, and until I became a really enveloped guitarist, I didn't realize that there actually were styles.
Definitely
so
styles. Definitely.
the East Coast sound, you know, is Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen, you know, all those guys. Then you got the South, Leonard Skinner, and it's they all put their own flavor, you know. It's like Creole, you know. You put your flavor in it. You got to spice it up, and that's us. You know, we say we're Southern rock, but we have a lot of Middle America and even West Coast and East Coast sound in our
Yeah,
our
definitely. We're a
music,
crock
you know.
pot. We're
Yeah,
a
we are.
musical crock pot. That's what we really are.
now, to me, if a whole different freaking race, because let's face it, Vietnamese, that's another race, that's a whole different culture. If they're going to bring in something or someone from some other culture to buttress their one-year anniversary, they must have serious faith in what you can do to keep those people in their seats and to keep that TV and the ratings high. So that's a hell of a compliment.
That is, and we're very honored.
Yeah.
I mean, you came to our show, you kind of got a feel of what we like, what we do up there, and we just go up there and we have fun and we just try to capture. You
Plus,
know,
you guys almost reach out and touch the audience with your sound, with your feel.
that's the goal. Yeah,
Yeah,
we want
absolutely.
to bring you into our little bubble.
And
you
it's
know.
fun once we're all in that
Yeah.
little circle
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
So
it's very cool. Now, August 20th, the Cowboy Palace Saloon, Fan Appreciation Night. What's up with that one?
Just, you know what? It's a cool place to play. You know, there's a couple legends have gone through there in the, you know, Southern rock and country rock and
Blues, yeah.
And
Where is
blues,
this?
and it's in
Chatsworth.
Chatsworth.
Just okay.
Yeah. It's a, you know, it's a pretty good venue. It's 400 capacity venue. It's pretty nice, and you know, it's just our way of giving something back to the fans that have been supporting us. I mean, so it's a free show, and you know, come on out, have a good time, and you know, we're like I said, man. Everybody wants to be rich and famous. There's no doubt. You know, I mean,
And this is Hollywood.
But you know, every now and then, you know, you gotta give something back to the
Well, it was
people
good.
that have
Yeah,
supported
it was
you.
good. I mean, the promoter reached out to us and said, "Hey, you know, we're interested in your sound, and we're a country place, you know, but you know, it's a big place. It
We don't
holds
have
400
very many
people.
bands like us. That's,
And
that
would
they
you
have
be
right
interested
there.
to do something?" And we got together and said, "Hey, you know, let's do something and bring our fans in and not charge them any money. I mean, we could do this." And so it kind of went over big with the promoter as well. And he said, "Let's do it."
Yeah.
You know.
Now,
So
speaking of doing it, and since it's Hollywood, I always throw in something that might not seem to have anything to do with what we're talking about, but it works for me in my life because then it's like, how did you know that? Or it's like, it seems like the most, I mean, if I were in your shoes, I'd probably do it. And my question is, are there any dreams of anyone going into the acting world or doing any type of scores for movies or writing books or
well,
starting
that's actually
nonprofits?
funny because that's how the band started.
Yeah, that's
he
how
does-
it
you know,
started.
acts, he
Ka-ching.
does
See, I
that
know.
kind of stuff.
He's an actor and he's done some stuff.
Both of
Yeah,
you? Or-
I have.
Yeah.
You know, and I was a line producer for a while and an independent producer, and I'm a screenwriter.
I like to watch movies.
So yeah, and it's funny because originally when Dustin and I actually went our separate ways, not for any bad reason, we just had different focuses in life at the time. First time we got back together, he said, because I teach martial arts, I fought professionally.
And you too? Or you?
All three of us have done it.
We're all three black belts,
Wow.
but I took the sport route of fighting and competing.
As an instructor
I like
in
to
the
fight. So anyway, he called me up and says, "Hey, you still doing like T-shirts, MMA shirts?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, well, I'm doing this movie. Why don't you come down?" And so that's how we originally got back in touch with each other. And then I met some people on set, and then went on to do some acting, and then played in a couple roles that actually got significant views on
Wow.
the YouTube channels.
Which
And
movies?
one was
if you
called
like
6
to-
Feet Down Under,
I've
with
heard
Sean
of that.
Piccinino as the director, and Guy Grundy was the co-star. And
It's
I
a
was
great TV
Cool.
series.
and it got an overwhelming response, and now I'm working on a project called Bane the series, and it basically is a DC Comics style show, but
Sounds
it
familiar.
features Bane as the main character. So it's
Yeah.
basically the chronicles of Bane's life.
His story, yeah, like that.
And
yeah.
I play detective, the shady detective Harvey Bullock.
Cool.
Nick Appello, he's also a world grand champion MMA fighter. He just won
Wow.
the world grand championship.
Very
he plays
cool, very cool.
Nightwing
Very cool.
on the show. And so it's pretty cool. And here's the other cool part is they wanted to use one of our songs as the show's main song. So
There you
our
hear it,
song,
ladies and
Bad Man.
gentlemen. I hate to cut in, but we're about to run out of time. But I just want to thank you guys so much
Oh, absolutely.
for coming in.
Thank you.
And I also want to give them a quick shout out. You can find them at www.sixgunsal.com. Also, reverbnation.com. They have quite a big following on Facebook. You can find them at Facebook music group page, *, 6 Guns Sal-Southern Rock Music Group. And just want to thank you guys. You guys are a class act.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you so much.
Thank you for having us.
You
on.
can also find us on Instagram at 6_gun_Sal.
Twitter.
And for all
Twitter.
the 6 Gun Sal band members not here, this is Anthony Appello, Dustin Lang on guitar, Joey Jojo Duran on drums, and also Ed Fierro. He's not here on lead guitar, plays a main axe.